So week 1, day 4, assisted lab. This is assisted lab 5, installing, using, and blocking a malware-based backdoor. In this activity, you will disable Windows Defender, leaving a server vulnerable. You will then simulate the accidental installation of malware and view the changes. You will take on the role of a pen tester or hacker and determine whether the malware was installed based on open network ports. Next, you'll connect to the infected server, proving you having the ability to exploit it. Finally, in the role of security administrator, you will remove the malware. So first, let's disable Windows Defender. In this first part of the activity, you will disable Windows Defender protection, leaving the server vulnerable to malware. So make sure that we are in MS1, and we are. Control-Alt-Delete to get to the login screen. We are logging in as administrator here. Password, enter. Select Start, right-click Windows PowerShell, and select Run as Administrator. Now, PowerShell is not in here, so I'm just going to go here, scroll down, Windows PowerShell, and then right-click, Run as Administrator, yes, and we're going to get a command line right there. So we are going to type in the following command: set MP preference, disable real-time monitoring, and true. Okay, so be careful of your typing. Make sure that everything, because it's case sensitive, no typos. SET dash. Scroll back to make sure that I'm back there. SET dash. Capital M, lowercase p, then preference. Okay, space dash disable real-time monitoring, all one word, space, and I think it was what? $true. $true. Okay. Enter. And so we got our command prompt, so that means that it worked. So we're going to close PowerShell. And next, install program from Odysseus.iso. Pretend that you are installing the program on the Odysseus.iso disk image, thinking that it is a legitimate piece of software. Insert the disk image and use its autoplay settings to start the installation. All right, well, let's minimize this here. And we're going to click on that. Not seeing anything there, so I'm going to go ahead, go in. Aha, there's the DVD drive. Double click on that. Yes, we do. Setup.exe. Yes. All right. So we went in there and we did that. We would not normally proceed with this. Select yes. Okay, so what this ended up doing is the installer runs silently with no visible window. When installation is complete, you will see two new icons on the desktop: Simple Hash and Simple Salter. So Simple Hash is creating a hash for your integrity. Right? And Simple Salter is actually, it's kind of cool. For this, you would be able to, so with passwords and things like that, you would use some salt. And that just means add some additional random numbers to the beginning of the password. And that helps to keep it from being brute force opened. Okay. So we got that. We closed the utility window. We did. Right, so now we're going to right-click the taskbar and select Task Manager. Okay. You don't need more details. Can you spot anything unusual? Install agent. Yeah, NCAT. Yes, definitely NCAT. You don't want that. Yeah. Okay, that's malware. NCAT is a well-known attack tool. When searching for suspicious processes, filter out known Windows processes unless they are typo spoofed, kind of like Notepad, right? So Notepad, maybe it's N0TEPAD. That's what we're talking about, typo spoofed. Note that the HMail server process is a legitimate third-party application for this server role. All right, it's running. So confirm that the malware has been installed by verifying that netcat.exe is running in the process list. Score. All right. You need a good understanding of what should be running or is authorized on your hosts and network to have a better chance of spotting what should not be there. The more authorized software and ports you allow, the harder the job of spotting the bad stuff becomes, especially when it comes to training new security staff. This is one of the reasons the principle of running only necessary services is so important. So let's go ahead and close the task manager. Just like the principle of least privilege, the principle of running only necessary services. Now we're going to identify network ports. The Odysseus software has installed a backdoor application called Netcat on the computer. This runs with the privileges of the logged on user, and currently we're logged in as administrator. So this allows a remote machine to access the command prompt on MS1. So we're going to use the DC1 virtual machine to run a posture assessment and see if the backdoor can be discovered. To discover the port of that backdoor is listening on, you can use a network scanner called Angry IP Scanner. So let's switch to DC1. Right, so Control-Alt-Delete, signing in as administrator with the password, enter. So from the desktop, open the Angry IP shortcut. I see it down there. Let's get our server manager minimized. So Angry IP shortcut. There we go. All right. So in the IP ranges, right here, we're going to type 10.1.0.2, 10.1.0.2 in both of them, because this is the MS1. Okay. All right. So now we're going to select Preferences, and that's under Tools. Tools, Preferences. And now we're going to select the Ports tab and enter into port selection 1 through 1024, no space, comma, no space, 4400 through 4500. So that's what we're going to scan. Ports 1 through 1024 and ports 4400 through 4500. So we're going to press OK, and then we're going to select Start. So this can take a minute. So we're going to give it a little time to scan. All right, so that took 2 minutes and 4 seconds, or 2.04 minutes. So close. Now look at the open ports. How many of them can you identify? Let's open this here. Okay, 25, 80, 135, 139, 143, 445, 587, and 4450. Well, just from my eyeballs, this one looks like the one that doesn't look right. Okay, but let's go down here. It says well-known port numbers. You should recognize these well-known ports. So we got 80, right? There's HTTP. Then 25, 143, 587 are email ones. 135, 139, and 445 are RCP, NetBIOS, and SMB. So the one that's the oddball out is, yes indeed, 4450. This port is not like the others. So let's go ahead and close this guy. And now let's test the backdoor. So we're still in DC1. To connect to the backdoor on MS1, you will use the terminal emulation client on PuTTY. So PuTTY in DC1, it's a command line tool that we can use. So we're in DC1. So PuTTY is in the lab files. All right. Let's scroll down. Netcat. There's PuTTY. Double click on that. All right. In the host name or IP address box, type 10.1.0.2, which is the MC1 or MS1, excuse me. 10.1.0.2. And the port that is using for this one is 4450. We're going to set the connection type to raw. Then in the saved sessions box, we're going to type MS1. MS, there we go, 1. Save it, because this is a session that we're going to do. Now we're going to select open. And after a few seconds, you will be connected to the command prompt on MS1. So let's go ahead and open it. And there it is. MS1 command prompt. If the connection does not display, it's not successful. So we are successful. If you're not seeing this, if it's just black, that means something didn't work right. So you go back and make sure that Defender is disabled. And that port 4450 is specified. And that the MS1 IP address is there. So we did. This is good. All right. In the PuTTY terminal, run the following 3 commands to confirm your remote connection. So who am I? We are 515 support administrator, which is the MS1. Hostname is MS1. Now let's run a quick IP config. There we go. We know it. IPv4 address. Everything's good. Okay, so now we're going to run the following command to create a user account named Mal on the remote server, just so that we can show that we can do it. Okay, so in Linux it's useradd, right, but in PowerShell, PuTTY, here it's net user space / add space. Name of the person or the account is MAL space, and we're going to do the password right now. Capital P A $$ W0RD. Make sure I get that. Net user add mal password. Enter. Command completed successfully. All right, so confirm that the mal local user account exists score. So it's important that you get this exactly right. You got to do it exactly as it says. Verbatim. So practice typing in the commands manually to help you learn and remember the syntax. All right, so now we're going to run the following command to add the mal user to the local administrators group. See what's happening here? We were able to get in. We added a user. And now we're going to put it into the administrators group. Now I can do all kinds of things. Okay, net local group administrators mal add. Make sure I spell everything right. Net local group administrators mal add. Enter. Okay. Completed successfully. Score. If the user or group is not found, or if the user is not part of the administrator's group, then repeat the two commands above. Creating a user account is one way for a threat actor to establish a persistence mechanism, so you'll be able to keep going back again and again, just logging in as mal with the password. So that's persistent mechanism, and reconnect to the target network or host. So we're going to leave the PuTTY window open. On to the next thing. So we're going to use Task Manager and the Windows Defender to investigate the changes that the Trojan has made. So now we're going back to MS1. And we're already logged in, so we don't have to worry. And we didn't get any script, so we're good. So we're going to go to File Explorer. All right, and then C. This PC. C, Program Files 86, Odysseus, and note the any.vbs file, any VBS script file. Okay. We're going to open it in Notepad. So right click and edit. And there we go. Set, create object. There it is. NC, string NC, and it gives you all the stuff. Don't worry. So ncat.exe on the system root. We're going to listen in on 4450 and keep it open. Once we do, we're going to execute the command, execute command.exe. So stuff like that. This script launches Netcat and creates a firewall rule to allow connections to it over port 4450. Okay, create service port. Object port name is service port. Okay, set object firewall. Okay, so we created that. Set object policy. Set object port. Set object port 4450, object port name, service port. It's enabled true. Globally open ports error return. We'll call ports.add. And then it looks like sleep after 5,000 minutes. All right. Close the script file and use File Explorer to delete it. Later, Tater. Delete. Bye. Alright, so now we don't need this anymore. Now we'll go back to Task Manager. And we're going to end task for that. We can go back there and get Netcat. No, where you go, Netcat? There you go. And right click and end task. And see you later. Close the task manager. Now we're going to select Start. And then type, actually just going to go over here. I'm going to start typing in firewall with advanced. Firewall with advanced security. Windows Defender Firewall with advanced security. Select the inbound rules. Here. Okay. Can you spot anything unusual that might be related to the Netcat backdoor that was installed? I do. Because remember when we looked at that, it said object name, service port. And there he is. Right there. What is the name of the firewall rule associated with that Trojan, the Netcat? It was service port. Yep, service port. So we're going to disable the rule by right-clicking it. Disable. Enable to no. Confirm that the firewall blocks connections. All right. Confirm that you've deleted that file in File Explorer. Okay, and then confirm that we went into Task Manager and ended the task. What's this say? If one or more of the above check fails, repeat the steps to ensure that you deleted the file, stop the process, and disable the firewall rule pertaining to the service port. This Trojan is trivially easy to block and remove, but most malware is more sophisticated. So now, what 3 tasks did you accomplish to block access to the malware? Choose 3. Well, yeah, we stopped the Netcat process in the Task Manager. Deleted Netcat VBS file. I don't remember seeing that. We closed the port. No, we didn't close the port. We stopped the Netcat services. No, we did. We closed the port and we deleted the file. Those are the 3 things we did. Beep, beep, beep. Yes, we did. How did the Netcat malware get installed? It was downloaded from the internet. It's delivered as an email attachment. Installed by a hacker with physical access to the server. Administrator was tricked into installing malware concealed as a utility software. Yeah, that's the one right here, because they were doing the salting and the hashing. And those 2 little guys. Simple hash, simple salter. And that the Netcat was snuck in there. Why is it useful to know the common port numbers? Easier to identify protocols that are not standard to your network. Required for network port authentication. Required for TCP IP network configuration. Helps to identify common transport layer protocols. This one is identify protocols that are not standard to your network. No. So that's one that I would say, oh, well, 4450 doesn't look familiar to me. And as I was saying before, this would be something that you might print off and have it stuck to the wall of your cubicle, so you know which ones are common to your network. Yes, I am sure. All right, assisted lab complete.